She called it a girls' trip. Her phone told a different story. So did the clinic. Hi, I'm Nolan, 38. Quality assurance at Cascade Forge just outside Seattle. Today's story is about a wellness retreat, a colleague with perfect timing, and the night I let the timeline speak quietly, completely. I measure steel in thousandths of an inch. The world either fits within tolerance or it doesn't. Marriage should be looser than metal. It should still hold. Maya and I have been married 8 years. She's a brand strategist. Pitches, panels, airports, turning vague ideas into campaigns that hit like weather fronts. I run metrology suites and sign off on parts that end up in bridges you drive across without thinking. We took turns. Her MBA while I stacked overtime, my night classes while she covered rent. We told people we were a team. For a long time, we were. The drift didn't start with a fight. It started with a tone. Her stories got shorter. Long day. Late session. Client dinner. The phone began living face down. The old perfume on the dresser made room for a new bottle that smelled like a city after rain. The trip dropped between bites of roast chicken. 2 weeks in Portugal, Lisbon, and a yoga place near Sintra, with her college friend Lainey. I need a reset, she said lightly, like mentioning we were low on olive oil. When she flipped her phone to confirm dates, the calendar blocks didn't match what she'd just told me. Small misalignment. It lodged under my ribs. At SeaTac, she wore heels fit for boardrooms, not boarding. "Miss me," she said at the rope line, and kissed my cheek like a promise. "Always do," I answered, and watched her become another traveler in a moving crowd. That night, the house sounded like it knew how to hold 2 people, but was trying to learn one. I called my brother in Spokane. He uses words like he's paying for them. "Trust your gut," he said, "but write things down." The next morning at 10:14, Maya called crying. "I miss you," she said. "Lainey's sick. The food's awful. This place isn't what we thought." Behind her voice, plates, the hiss of an espresso wand, Portuguese drifting like ribbon. Not a meditation hall, a café. "Where are you?" I asked. "In my room," she whispered. "She's sleeping." The café didn't turn itself off. I drove home from the plant and opened the drawer where passports live with random warranties. In her jewelry box, beneath earrings she never wears, a card slid loose. Palacio Atlantico Hotel, Avenida Lisbon. On the back, in black ink, 1207. Can't wait. I sat on our bed until paper warmed to skin, and a name from Maya's recent sentences stepped into focus. Rui. New hire from the Lisbon office. The colleague with the accent that made strategy slides sound like poetry. I didn't throw anything. I made 3 calls. First, my brother. "You were right." Second, a divorce attorney, Claire Ito. She sounded like a level held to a wall. "Bring documents," she said. "We'll talk timing." Third, a private investigator, Mira Levant. She'd helped a neighbor turn rumors into facts 2 years back. "International?" she asked. "I have a partner in Lisbon." The plan wasn't cinematic. It was careful. Mira's associate found Palacio Atlantico in a morning. Photos came fast. Maya and Rui at check-in. Maya's hand on his shoulder as they leaned over a map. Breakfast by a window with the Tagus behind them like a silk ribbon. Timestamps, GPS, receipts. The retreat was a suite with a view and room service that learned their names. 3 days in, a new line entered Mira's spreadsheet. Clinica Jardim Ginecologia. Women's Health and Family Planning, Mira wrote, confirming. 2 days later, prenatal consult. Estimated gestation aligns with Lisbon dates. This is not legal advice. That night, Maya FaceTimed with perfect framing her face, nothing else. "Travel clears my head," she said. "I learned to say obrigado the right way." Laughter notched higher, like it had room now. I picked her up at arrivals with flowers and a smile I'd trained for. She smelled like the new perfume and ocean air. On the drive, she said, "Retreat was overrated. Too much breathing, not enough anything." At home, she slept like someone who'd been adored. The next 3 weeks, she floated through rooms with a careful kindness I didn't recognize. Not distance, composition. On a Thursday, she set her mug down with the weight of a decision. "I've been thinking," she said. "Maybe it's finally time. A baby." The word landed like a gear that doesn't quite seat. I remember nodding. I remember my hands being very still. Mira's full report arrived in a black binder with gray tabs. Lisbon wasn't the start. She had footage from hotels near South Lake Union months earlier, a timeline of late-night texts, card charges that rhymed with client dinners. The clinic pages were bone clean, visit dates, estimated weeks, recommended next steps. Not my math. Not my window. Claire balanced her glasses and ran a finger down the tabs. "We file first," she said. "Adultery. Potential paternity fraud. Motion for immediate genetic testing if and when the pregnancy is announced. Forensic accounting on joint finances. You remain calm. No confrontation. Let her go first." "What if she tells me?" I asked. "You'll be gracious," Claire said, "and very organized." 2 Mondays later, Maya asked me to sit. Her eyes were bright like runway lights. "I have amazing news," she said. "We're having a baby." She hugged me. "The doctor thinks it happened 2 weeks ago." 2 weeks tidy, outside Lisbon. I lifted her and spun in the kitchen like movies taught us. "We should celebrate," I said. "Big. Families. Friends. Make a memory." She clapped. I booked a private room at cedar salt brick walls. Soft light. 26 chairs. Silver that felt heavy in your hand. Mira built presentation folders like earnings, briefs, cover page with dates, Section 1, photos, Section 2, hotel registries, Section 3, clinic documents, Section 4, phone records. Last page, a letter in my voice plane, not angry, explaining what the evidence shows. All translated, notarized, stamped. A sealed envelope for Maya with Claire's filing and a request for DNA. Before that night came, there were days I had to fill. I filled them with work and remembering. We met at a backyard barbecue 9 summers ago. She was laughing with a paper plate balanced on one palm and an argument about fonts in the other. I told her I measured bolts for a living. She said, "I love men who make things hold." We ate peaches that dripped down to our wrists. I walked her to her car and memorized the color. It hurts to recall that, honestly. I do it anyway so the ledger stays true. At the plant, I signed off on a lot we'd had to scrap the month before. The operator asked if I was okay. "Getting there," I said, and meant it. You can be breaking and still be competent. Sometimes competence saves you while your heart catches up. Midway through this story, if you're still with me, do me a favor. Tap like, hit subscribe. It helps these quiet power stories reach people who need to hear that calm and evidence-beat chaos and noise. Thank you. The night of the dinner, cedar salt felt warm on purpose. My parents sat with hers, comparing names they liked as if names could fix a timeline. Friends leaned in for selfies against brick. Lainey, her alibi, arrived with a bottle and wide, honest eyes. She hugged me like she was asking a question with her arms. "Ready?" Maya whispered, squeezing my hand. The dress she'd bought before Portugal looked like a yes. "Ready," I said. I tapped my glass. The room settled. "Thank you for being here," I began. "Maya and I do have news. Before we share it, I need to give you the truth about something else." I handed the first folder to my mother, then Maya's father, then along the tables like communion. Paper shooshed in unison, eyes moved left to right. Air changed temperature. The first section shows where Maya stayed in Lisbon, I said, voice level. With a colleague named Rui. The second shows a clinic visit. The dates matter. DNA will confirm what the calendar already has. Maya's mother covered her mouth. My father read slowly. Contract slow. Laney sweet. Unarmed, Laney looked up, stricken. I didn't go to Portugal, she said. I thought you knew. She told me. She stopped. Maya didn't sit. She floated above her chair like she'd left gravity somewhere else. How could you? She whispered. How could you do this to me? I didn't do this to you, I said. I documented what you did to us. Someone's fork touched china and stopped. The room made the sound of a vacuum shock isn't silence, it's pressure. I filed, I finished. We'll follow the law, the science, and the calendar. This is not legal advice. It's the cleanest version of a very ugly truth. No toasts, no cupcakes, chairs scraped. Friends stepped into the soft Seattle rain carrying folders like umbrellas. My mother squeezed my shoulder. Maya's father stared at a wall like it owed him an explanation. Laney cried in the hallway and said she was sorry to the carpet. Maya stood in the center of a room and watched a story change shape around her. 3 months later, DNA said what dates said. Rui went back to Lisbon like a tide slipping under a door. Claire's settlement left what it should, where it should. We didn't burn the house down. We inventoried it. Maya moved into a short-term place with a view of a brick wall and a lot of thinking time. I kept the binder in a drawer labeled Timeline, not Trophy. Tool. The professional world has a way of hearing personal echoes. Maya's firm shifted her to a quieter lane. Friends split like lines on a map. Some reached for me, some for her. Most for the version that let them sleep. My brother called on Sundays. We talked about nothing. It turns out nothing is good furniture for a tired mind. A week after the decree, I drove to the water and watched the ferries puzzle the bay. A kid kicked a soccer ball against a rail and chased it, laughing. A dad jogged after him, pretending he couldn't keep up. The game didn't know me. It helped anyway. A month after that, Laney met me for coffee. I didn't know, she said before the cup touched the table. She told me you were okay with work trips. She made it sound different. I believe you, I said. We sat with that for a while, the espresso machine breathing in the corner like a patient animal. Decency is a quiet sport. It still counts. At Cascade Forge, they handed me the QA lead on a new bridge across a river that never rushes. Precision helps grief find places to sit. I went to the farmer's market on Saturdays and picked peaches by smell like my father taught me. I cooked for myself and ate at a table without performing for the air. Maya texted once. I'm sorry. 3 dots appeared and vanished like minnows. I didn't answer. Some bridges are made of matchsticks and gasoline. You don't cross them twice. If you're in the middle of what I was in the middle of, you don't have to shout. Write dates. Save statements. Keep screenshots, logs, policies, receipts. Be kind in public, exact in private. When it turns legal, get counsel. When it turns cruel, get quiet. This is not legal advice. It's scaffolding. Here's what I hadn't said yet. And it matters. I booked 1 counseling session, not to fix the past, just to tune my future. The therapist told me boundaries are simply budgets, time, attention, trust. You assign on purpose or spend by accident. I started budgeting. I built a little kit in my desk, a pocket notebook, a duplicate flash drive, a checklist that reads, Timeline Counsel Present. No heroics, just order. I called my mother more and learned her peach pie recipe by heart. I took the long way home past the job site and watched cranes remind the sky who holds the line. I slept with the window open and let the ferry horn stitch the night back together. None of that changes what happened, but it changes what happens next. Here's what I'm keeping. If someone asks you to ignore the math, it's because the math has them outnumbered. If someone asks you to trust them while they hide the books, don't. Forgiveness isn't amnesia. Kindness isn't blindness. Love is a ledger you balance together. The ledger didn't hit zero loss leaves a remainder, but the books are clean. The frame held. And when the noise stopped, the house finally sounded like a place where truth could sleep.